Brazil, the heart of football. A country where children are born with a ball at their feet, where every street echoes with samba and dreams. From Pelé to Neymar, this land built legends. For the world, Brazil was football. But beneath the roar of the crowds and the shine of golden trophies, something darker was growing. Whispers in the locker rooms, silent phone calls before matches, referees and players whose loyalty had a price. Millions in dirty money flowed through secret accounts. Games were rigged, outcomes scripted, all while fans cheered for a lie. The same sport that united a nation was being sold piece by piece. When investigators finally pulled the curtain, what they found shook Brazilian football to its very core messages: bets, bribes, and betrayal. The country that gave football its soul had lost its own. This is not just a story about corruption. This is the story of how the world's most passionate football nation fell to greed. This is Brazil's darkest secret. It began like every other football season in Brazil stadiums full, fans singing, and young players chasing their dreams. But in the shadows, something else was kicking off. Small bets, local games, nothing serious, or so it seemed. Bookmakers started offering special odds on yellow cards, red cards, even corner counts. Nobody noticed at first, but someone, somewhere, was making a lot of money. A missed penalty here. A strange substitution there pattern started to form. The kind of coincidences that weren't coincidences anymore. In the lower divisions, players struggled to survive on low wages. That's where the first cracks appeared. A few thousand reais for a simple foul, a promise that no one would ever find out. And soon, the infection spread. Managers, agents, even referees all caught in a quiet dance of greed. Some justified it as just one game. Others said, everyone does it. But every small deal became another piece of a much bigger puzzle. A network of corruption stretching from local clubs to national leagues. Messages were exchanged through encrypted apps. Payments moved through crypto wallets and offshore accounts. A single match could be worth millions not to the players, but to those betting behind the curtain. Fans didn't see it. They saw goals, drama, emotion. They didn't see that half of it was scripted. Slowly, trust began to erode, even if no one said it out loud. By the time investigators started to notice irregular betting spikes, the machine was already running smoothly silent, powerful, untouchable. And then came the breaking point. One whistle, one decision, one game that changed everything. The match that was supposed to be fair wasn't. It was the moment Brazil's beautiful game began to rot from the inside. What started as whispers in the dark was about to become a national scandal. The rise of the fixers had begun, and no one, not even the biggest clubs, were safe anymore. It all came crashing down one night, not on the pitch, but online. Screenshots, chat logs, and secret betting slips began circulating on social media. At first, no one believed it. Fake news, they said. But within hours, the evidence became impossible to ignore. Investigators revealed encrypted WhatsApp groups with players, referees, and agents exchanging coded messages. Yellow card in the 20th minute. Penalty confirmed. Transfer complete. The messages were followed by screenshots of transactions, thousands, then millions, moving across digital wallets. Suddenly, fans realized what they had been cheering for wasn't real. The goals, the drama, the heartbreak, all orchestrated by people chasing profit, not passion. Major news outlets picked up the story. CNN Brazil called it the darkest day in national football history. One by one, names started leaking, referees suspended, players questioned. Club officials under investigation. The police raided betting offices and agents' homes. Laptops were seized, documents confiscated. What they uncovered was a network that stretched far beyond Brazil, with links to criminal organizations in Asia and Eastern Europe. The investigation's code name: Operação Cartão Vermelho. Operation Red Card. The entire country watched in disbelief as the scandal unfolded live on television. Fans outside stadiums burned jerseys, shouting, "Vocês venderam nosso jogo!" You sold our game. In Parliament, lawmakers demanded answers. The Brazilian Football Confederation scrambled to distance itself, promising complete transparency. But the truth was clear. The system had been compromised from the inside. For decades, Brazil was the symbol of joy, rhythm, and football purity. Now, it was a headline, a cautionary tale for the world. Every revelation tore another piece of trust apart. And yet, investigators believed this was only the surface. because behind every exposed name, there was someone even more powerful, still hidden in the shadows. The day after the leak, Brazil woke up to chaos. News channels ran the same footage again and again. Crying fans outside stadiums, burning jerseys, broken trust. The sport that once united the nation had torn it apart. Thousands gathered outside the Football Federation's headquarters, chanting in anger, "Sem justiça, sem futebol." No justice, no football. Inside, panic. Sponsors pulled their deals overnight, clubs faced investigations, players were suspended mid-season, and matches were cancelled without warning. Stadiums that once thundered with chants now echoed with silence. One headline read, "Brazil's soul sold for money." Talk shows debated whether football in Brazil could ever recover. Even legendary players spoke out saying they felt ashamed of what the sport had become. Some referees fled the country. Others broke down in interviews, admitting how greed, fear, and threats forced them into silence. It wasn't just a scandal. It was a national heartbreak. Fans who grew up worshipping football now felt betrayed by the very game that defined their lives. Every whistle, every penalty, every victory, now questioned. And in that silence, Brazil realized something far deeper had been stolen. Not just their matches, not just their money, but their faith in the beautiful game. When the investigation deepened, the truth turned darker than anyone imagined. What began as a few players taking bribes had become a web of corruption connecting businessmen, club owners, and even political figures. The betting networks weren't just controlling small matches, they were influencing entire tournaments. Offshore accounts in Dubai, London, and Hong Kong revealed millions moving every week. Fake sponsorship deals and player bonuses were used to hide the transactions. Some referees admitted they were threatened, forced to make calls under pressure from people with guns and power. Others confessed they did it for survival, saying, "You can't fight the system when the system owns the game." Leaked documents exposed how certain club directors met with betting syndicates before major games. What fans thought were emotional, unpredictable matches were actually carefully calculated outcomes. Investigators realized they weren't just fighting match fixing, they were fighting organized crime. The scandal wasn't a stain on football. Anymore, it was proof that greed had infected the very core of Brazil's national identity. One journalist described it best. They didn't just sell goals, they sold hope. And when hope is gone, what's left of the beautiful game? In the end, Brazil didn't just lose matches. It lost its pride, its trust, its identity. The headlines faded. The protests stopped, but the silence that followed was heavier than any defeat. Stadiums once filled with chants now stood like empty monuments of betrayal. Kids who dreamed of wearing the yellow jersey started asking questions their heroes couldn't answer. For the first time, the beautiful game had an ugly face, and it looked like Brazil. But even in darkness, something refused to die. Young players began speaking out, vowing to rebuild what was broken. Fans formed movements demanding clean football. No bribes, no lies, no scripts. New referees stepped forward, those who wanted to bring back honesty to every whistle. The Football Federation promised a new era, one built not on money, but on integrity. And slowly, the chants returned. The drums beat again. Because Brazil's love for football isn't just a game, it's a heartbeat. They took the trophies, they stole the glory, but they couldn't kill the spirit. As the sun sets over the Maracanã, one truth remains: football can be corrupted, but it can never be conquered. And for Brazil, this isn't the end. It's the beginning of redemption.